What was the moment like when Maui found out the news?
It was in the weight room, and he kind of took over from there. I believe there was a haka dance going on and all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to keep away from any celebrations right now with what I got going on with the jaw, but probably one that goes in the memory bank with this team, and that's good because it's kind of been a theme with this group of kind of finding themselves. We're trying to find out things about them, and then kind of trying to create memories along the way, which is what this whole thing's about, which everything's about, really.
Feel good to hopefully have things kind of in the rear view and move on with the rest of the season at this point?
At this point, I'm glad the kid got to play baseball, to be honest with you. And seeing him out there and having success. Now, I probably needed to not act like a 3-year-old. I thought that first one was going over the fence, but it just wasn't a very lively night to hit the ball until the sun went completely down. And those two homers, obviously, Jared for us, and then Burke, and then their guy juiced one too. I mean, those are out on any day, but it just wasn't a very lively day. But he smoked that first ball, and then to see him get the first hit out of the way, we talked about it in here after one of those games. Just to get a lot of the firsts out of the way is nice. So happy that the kid gets to do what he loves to do.
What was the process of, I guess, reaching the suspension decision, and how was it getting back out here today as well?
For myself,
Yeah.
Was just kind of talking with administration, anyone possible for me to talk to. Really, you want to make the right decision, but you're kind of under the gun with the timeline. And when I say we, everybody that you can think of that would be involved in that action wanted to support the kid and just wanted to do whatever we thought was right to get him back on the field. And was a contributing factor, hopefully, in getting him back out there.
How do you feel like the team's kind of handled some of this early season adversity with kind of the ongoing Maui situation and your suspension as well?
Oh, I think that stuff outstanding, about as well as I can. It's kind of like game time news. I think Q was the one to tell him right after stretch in Arizona. Q was the one to tell him. He's kind of the hatchet man in a lot of different ways. The one to tell him on Friday here, kind of last minute news. But they're kids, man. I think there's a lot of things out there that because everyone has a voice, you can pick them apart and make them a bigger thing than they really are. And at the root of everything, the kids just want to play baseball. So while I don't blame you for sitting and wondering, what does the guy think if they're using them in this role, or they make this change, or there's this dramatic situation going on, they're just kids and they want to play ball. They like doing that more than like going to school. Don't tell Megan I said that, but so I think they've handled it well. There's other stuff that's come up that just, is nature of the game. A good challenge from a starting pitcher, or focusing all 3 days on the weekend. There's things that we're still looking to improve at.
How big of a luxury is it to have Elander that can kind of calm the seas while you're gone?
Yeah, it's why he has the title that he does. I think it's more calming to know at night I don't have to work as much as I used to on the phone, or during the summer going on the road. You guys know how integral that stuff is with college sports or just sports in general, the personnel you have. And so I think more than anything, he's a calming influence with that. But this is, when it came to his hiring, since you're going to bring up the topic, experience was a thing that you would have to question. But his experience on the field is unmatched. He was in the cage more than any hitter I coached. He kept every handout that he ever got as a player. He's always studying the game. Obviously, a lot of catchers make good coaches for obvious reasons. So how he works with the catchers and how he works with the hitters and just how he relates with kids made it a no-brainer to hire him. The only thing you'd ask if you're going to play devil's advocate is, how's he going to do with this recruiting thing? And I don't know which he's better at this point. So there's a reason he has that title, and overall there's a reason why it's easier. I ain't a good sleeper, but it's easier to sleep at night.
What went into betting Maui 6-9 this first game?
Man, sometimes there's a purpose to some things, and sometimes there's just kind of slid them in there. Now, I will say this in defense myself. There's been repetitions at leadoff, in the 2-hole, and at 6, in scrimmages where you're trying to find out what's the best combination of everybody. But again, just happy to be out there. He obviously can handle the bat, but he's a really good defender. So, and plus he's playing a shortstop like Jazzy, who was speaking with y'all before. If you defend behind the plate or at short, anything you do with the bat is kind of a bonus. So, but I think it goes without saying we'd like the middle of that order to, seem a little bit meatier, if that's the right thing to use.
I know you don't want to make
The
it
right
about
phrase to use.
yourself, but getting back into the dugout today and kind of having the complete picture of this team, how did that all feel for you as a coach?
It felt outstanding at the start of the day. You got the good vibes going and all that, and probably smiling more than I normally do. And then when the action starts with pregame and everything, you kind of get, whether it's a playoff game or a road game or a home game, you kind of get into I wish I was like a player like that, where I maybe was a little bit more regimented, but you got routines you got to stick to, and what's the next step, and you got to kind of hold everybody accountable to what you're trying to do. So while it was exciting for everybody, I think yesterday was the day that was kind of everybody act a fool, and then today was down to business. It just everybody, if you had a microphone of their internal thoughts, was, let this guy get a hit or let this guy get a play. And now I wanted him to get a play too, but I didn't know he was going to run in front of SEMO like that on that one. But I kind of liked it, to be honest with you.
How would you assess Jazz Love those first 2 weeks, kind of filling in, and how do you envision his role moving forward now?
Outstanding, and I thought it was fitting. There were some reasons why, but I thought it was fitting he was in the lineup today. One man's, I don't know if this is a good way to say it because it seems a little serious, but one guy's celebration doesn't have to be another guy's downfall, I guess is a better word than I was thinking. So there's opportunity out there. You guys see that. We almost pinch hit in the DH spot, so that would have been a new guy each time that spot came up in the order. So we're still figuring out who belongs where in the bullpen. And fortunately, starting pitching is kind of the thing you worry about the most. You can kind of see the vision that we have there, but there's availability out there. And he hit really good against left-handed pitching. Took some good swings against a few righties too. So I think that experience will calm him each opportunity he gets from here on out. And he showed he's a capable defender, and right now he's a little better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching.
What behind the decision to have Seth throw tonight?
He threw Friday, so Tuesday is kind of typically a bullpen day for Doe, which he did today, and he and Halvey have kind of been matched up a little bit together, and I would anticipate that again for this Friday. But he did get us 8 outs, if I'm not mistaken, so it'll probably be a smaller role for Friday, but that's kind of what went into it. I mean, he's one of our better arms, and as he comes along with getting his pitch count built back up, and then just being out there, getting more comfortable out there with repetitions, he's capable of doing anything we need him to, I think.
Couple more guys. What does Kirby bring to this team out of the bullpen?
Good hair and a good mustache. Maybe he can sing the national anthem like the Super Bowl. That was pretty dang good. But I think the guys, you don't want to pick favorites, but the guys in the dugout immediately are cheering for him, and they also immediately know what they're going to get. They're going to get a guy that can field his position a little bit, like he did there. It wasn't the cleanest play. He's going to compete. He's got experience. He's not going to make the situation bigger than it is. So he kind of excites the dugout at the same time, kind of gives you that calming feeling. That's a difficult combo to achieve, but when you're a great kid and you're a hard worker and you got some ability, you can do that, especially if you kind of rack up a couple years where you've proven yourself. So, and the one thing that's nice too, and he's not the only one, you'd like a guy in the bullpen that when the coach isn't really on it as much as he should and says, holy cow, get hot, code red, whatever it is, he can get ready like that. So that's a big thing too.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, get across.